right. So yeah, I don't know where. It was definitely brought up here. I don't know. Me or might have accidentally placed it somewhere. So, all right. Oh, there it is. I left it. I must have put it over there.
You're over here blaming Madhav.
Yes, I love to blame Madhav, actually.
Of course it wasn't me.
All right, so just to, if anyone likes to watch on Facebook, we should just get them. Bhakti Yoga. Okay. Izzy, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you put that in that tripod? Just place it at me and hit go live. All right. So today's subject matter is how to associate with the Lord's Posse. So we have to know that there is a God. If we don't know that already, that can actually be studied. Yes. What's that? Yeah, it's right in front. It's fine. Okay.
Otherwise, he'll just be looking at this corner.
Yes. So, yes, you got it. Perfect. So, one, you have to understand there is a God, actually. That everything's working perfectly. There's someone, or something, some intelligence in control. And then how does God actually bestow His mercy upon mankind? You also have to know that. And that's through the devotee. That's through his confidential servants. So this is a text called the Upadeshamrita. It's a very, very... did we give you this one, the Nectar of Instruction? Yes, this is like a very, very gentle beginning, but then crash course into the deepest depths of Krishna conscious philosophy, all in just like 11 verses. And it starts very easy and makes sense, and then it goes to a place very quickly. And so now we're getting to be the middle of the pack, and we're talking about the devotees. So just to kind of backtrack a little bit, the first verse talks about what a guru looks like. Vacho Vegam, Manasakrota Vegam. Vacho Vegam, they control the urge to speak. Meaning they're only speaking about the absolute truth, and ultimately that will find itself in God consciousness. Manasakrota Vegam, the same thing, the dictates of their mind and what they're ultimately... they really don't get angry much, but if they do get angry, it's only in relation to blasphemy of the Lord's dear servants and the Lord Himself. So they control the mind, these urges. Jiva Vegam, so the tongue. We like to taste things in this material world, and we'll go searching anywhere to taste what we want to taste, sinful or not sinful. But they control this. They control this urge of the tongue. They control the urge Udarapastha Vegam. The Udara, the belly, and the apastha is the genital. This is actually what a guru looks like. If the guru is, utilizing all of these things in an uncontrolled way, he's actually not a guru, he's in ignorance still. So, Jiva Vegam, Udarapastha Vegam, Etan Vegam, Yo Vishaheta Dira. One who can tolerate these urges. Sarvam Apimam Pratibhim Sashishyat. He can make disciples all over the world. So it actually describes what a guru is. And then it takes two. You guys have heard of Hatha Yoga before? So Hatha Yoga is the kind of bodily exercise of yoga. How to sit and meditate, how to contemplate life, how to be still, how to rest the mind, chill the mind out. So then it takes two texts from the, I think, Hatha Yoga Pradipika. And but he tailors them towards its use in bhakti, because we know this is the highest yoga, as revealed in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a little bit more of an advanced class today. It's not like Bhagavad Gita is very surface level, very introductory. This is kind of like, even though we have new people, we're just hopping into a little bit more depth today. But I'll try and give it context. So anyhow. Then so you have the things that ruin your bhakti, the things that will ruin your steadiness, your meditation, your ability to practice spiritual life. If you remember, it's overeating, over-endeavoring. We talked about them. These are the obstacles to surrender. Might as well read them because it's important to be remembered that Overeating or collecting more than necessary. That's also including knowledge. You could collect all kinds of how to code, all these different things, but they're, things that are not necessary in your life, consuming them. Over-endeavoring for mundane things, talking unnecessarily about mundane things, gossip, criticism, things like this. 4, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. So, giving too much emphasis on every little detail of the scriptures and really becoming fanatical will ruin your bhakti, and then at the same time rejecting the scriptures altogether. We should find the healthy balance, how to practice them nicely, and remember the essence of why we're doing that. We're trying to develop a relationship with the Lord. 5, associating with worldly minded persons, people who have no knowledge of spirit, no knowledge of any higher purpose in life. If we associate with them, it'll ruin our bhakti. So that's going to be unfortunate right there. There goes the air conditioner. Do you know how to do the thing? No, it's not rocket science.
Tell me which switch it is, I can do it.
It is. You'll see. It's the only one that's down, and it's. I think it's like the second one from the top left. So anyway, so Piyush might know how to do it. Okay, so that was what ruins your bhakti, and then it talks about how to actually grow your bhakti. So if you imagine when you plant things. Anyone garden here? Anyone a gardener? Yeah. So when you garden, all the ESF people, you guys, that's like kind of your thing. You guys love plants, right? I don't know. Jagadish tipped me off to this. I don't know what you guys study actually. But anyway, when you plant something, you have to clear out all the weeds and the things that are unfavorable. So if you want to have a good spiritual practice, you have to clear out all the things that are going to get in the way. And that's what that verse was, all the things that will get in the way. And then you actually have to give it the things it needs. Good soil, good environment, sunlight, water, all the things it needs. So this next verse is those things. Enthusiasm. Endeavoring with confidence, meaning also you have faith. In order to have confidence, you must have faith and something to be confident about. 3, being patient. Any plant, I don't know if you guys ever, did you ever start vegetable starters before? So there's kind of a way you can manipulate it and you can get it to go quicker if you use heating pads and things like that. But if you let it grow too quickly, too fast, what happens is it becomes too tall and then its base is very weak and it'll snap very easily. So similarly, if you try and go too far too quickly and don't actually digest and actualize the spiritual process, you'll rise up too high, you won't have your roots underneath you, and boom, you'll collapse over and you won't be able to keep making advancements. So you actually have to be patient. 4, you act according to the regular print. You should understand what is the process. Here it's mentioning Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Vishnu Smaranam are the main 3. Hearing, first, what you guys are doing it right now. Come and hear about the science of God. Kirtan, and then when you learn what you've actualized, then you share with others. And then Vishnu Smaranam, by doing those 2 things, you'll actually remember these things and live by them in your life. So, you need to follow these things if you want to grow your bhakti. Again, you have to abandon the association of the non-devoted. So, what's that?
You might have to turn it back on, right? Or turn it back on. No, but this would just turn back on, or you have to do it yourself. You know what I mean?
So anyway. Yes, we're all just going to sweat together tonight. So you would abandon the association of the non-devotee. Why? Because you are your environment. Business guys, they know if you want to be rich, what do you do?
Hang with rich people.
Yeah, you hang out with rich people. If you want to be rich, you hang out with rich people. If you want to be devoted, you got to hang out with devoted people. If you get caught up, and if you want to be worldly, there's plenty of worldly people. Go hang out with all the worldly people. I was thinking of that song of what is John Lennon? Look at all the lonely people. If you want to be lonely, there's a lot. Look, all the lonely people out there. Why? Because they don't actually understand really the spiritual reality. They're so caught up in the temporary body and it's the misery of watching the body age, disease, and eventually die. Unless you find that higher spiritual purpose, it's a very, very sad arrangement. And a lonely arrangement. But it doesn't have to be that way. So 6, you'd follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. So you follow in the footsteps of the great saints who have traversed this path earlier and who have had success. This isn't like a blind practice. You're watching us do all kinds of wild things. There's plants and You guys have all these items you're worshiping. It looks like statues, and like, what the heck is going on here? I totally thought that at first too. But when you see the inner meaning behind all the practices, when you understand the internal process that's happening, the internal meditation when doing all these things. Right now we're just chanting the mantra, and we're trying to understand God and learn how to love God. But as you go deeper, there's a quite deep relationship, and it's all internal actually. And if you reveal too much too early, then it won't make sense. But it can be revealed steadily as you go. So anyhow, this will actually assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Then we talked about, in this text, how to associate with the devotees. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad, which is the mercy, you're all drinking some prasad, and offering prasad are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. So this is the way that devotees actually all learn to have friendship and love for each other. So this is teaching this actually. So this is what you kind of do. You offer some gifts in charity, and then you accept the gifts, because the devotees also will offer you gifts. You reveal your mind in confidence to them, and then you can inquire confidentially from them, and then and they'll reveal their mind and confidence to you. And then accepting prasad, they will maybe make some offering, some spiritual offering, like juice right now, because it's very hot and our air conditioner keeps cutting off. I don't know why. And at the same way, you might also offer some prasad as well, or maybe you don't know how to, go through the whole process. But maybe you can offer some, here's some vegetables from the garden. Here's some fruits I got from the store. Here's a little money for the grocery shopping. These are some things in way you can also help join the charitable exchanges that the devotees have with each other. I know a lot of the students, this one girl, Adya, she lived at the school, but she would go to the cafeteria and steal all the fruits from the cafeteria, and she would come to me. That's a good amount of fruits. And she'd come, and next thing you know, she's got like a huge load from the cafeteria. She doesn't have much money, she doesn't have much to offer, but she has something at her disposal. Madhav used to work at BJ's, and next thing you know, he'd be coming back with a bunch of stuff from the BJ's break room, and because he'd want to offer to the Lord. This is good actually. This is proper. So these are some things. Now this verse today will talk about how to actually see the devotee, and this will be very, very helpful to you if you can actually understand, one, who the devotees are, and then how to associate with the devotees. So now we're on text 5. You guys can't read.
Page 47.
Page 47. Oh, very good. Okay, are you guys on page 47? Okay, repeat after me. Krishneti yasya giritang, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. Dikshasti chet pranatibishcha bhajantamisham. Shushushaya bhajana vigyam ananyamanya. Nindari shunya hridamipshita sangalabdhya. Krishna, the holy name of Lord Krishna. Iti, thus, yasya, of whom, giri, in the words or speech, tam, him, manasa, by the mind, adriyeta, one must honor, diksha, initiation, asti, there is, chet, if, pranitibihi, by obeisances. Obeisances are like deep respects or offering of pranams or respects. Cha, also, bhajantam, engage in devotional service. Isham, unto the personality of Godhead. Shushrushaya, by devotional service. Isham, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh no, I already did that. Bhajana Vigyam, one who is advanced in devotional service. Ananyam, without deviation. Anya Ninda Adi, of blasphemy of others, etc. Shunya, completely devoid. Hridam, whose heart. Ipsita, desirable. Sangha, association. Labdhya, by gaining. Translation, repeat after me. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of the Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, diksha, and is engaged in worshiping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. This is very, very nice. So we will get into this a little bit, reading into it. In order to intelligently apply the sixfold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. So we can't actually do those things with everybody. Everyone have a proper, if you reveal your heart to everybody and that person doesn't know how to handle your heart, they can smash it. Did you ever tell something to the wrong person before and they just went around and they just completely spoiled something confidential that you told them? Am I the only one that's happened to? Yes. And maybe you've done it to someone else. Someone trusted you with a secret that they needed your help with, and because of your immaturity that you spoiled it. When I was little, I did this all the time. I became renowned for I wasn't able to keep secrets. So then no one came to me with secrets. So this is actually, we want to select the proper persons. So Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way, according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with the three types of devotees: the Kanishta Adhikari, the Madhyam Adhikari, and the Uttama Adhikari. In kind of layman speak, the most basic level devotee, the middle level devotee, and a top class devotee. So first class, second class, third class devotee. The Kanishta Adhikari is a neophyte, meaning he's a novice, who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. One should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnava. A Madhyam Adhikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Madhyam Adhikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. The Uttama Adhikari, or highest devotee, is one who is very advanced in devotional service. An Uttama Adhikari is not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean, and he has attained the realized state of unalloyed, or meaning unmixed, Krishna consciousness. That's all that is on his heart. So according to Srila Rupa Goswami, the association and service of such a Mahabhagavat, or perfect Vaishnava, are most desirable. So actually this is what we want to do. We want to try to find somebody who's on the top spiritual class. Just because you come here and you associate with us, if you just think, oh, everyone's a devotee, everything's perfect, you'll get disappointed really quickly. Because many of us, we, due to our immaturity still, will make some kind of mistake or something and not properly represent, the spiritual platform. So you actually want to learn to, assess your own level. This is the most useful for assessing your own level. To be honest, even one who takes formal initiation is still on the Kanishta platform, And if you haven't even taken formal initiation yet, then yes, that would be. We all have to start in the beginning, Like my son is a baby right now. You're hearing him, and he's like this. But we can't expect him to go take the car out or things like that. That's these are adult. He has to grow into that. So similarly in spiritual life, like Jesus says, one has to be born again to approach the kingdom of God. So initiation is that, being born into spiritual life. So if you actually want to advance, you have to, take to the process, and you have to start from square zero. Okay, I've been living this temporary lie my whole life. I know maybe no one wants to hear what I've been living a lie. But if you place all your happiness in temporary things and they all disappear before your eyes, and you've probably watched everything that you've chased in your life has disappeared, and you find new things to chase, and you keep chasing and keep chasing and keep chasing. And then next thing you know, it's all disappearing, and then you say, when am I going to get it? When am I just going to be completely satisfied? It's impossible, because you're chasing things that can never give you complete satisfaction. So when you finally do somehow find, by the mercy of the Lord, that which can give you eternal, lasting satisfaction, and that can only be spiritual, because you're spiritual, then You got to start from step 0. Oh, I'm a baby, and that's good. That's healthy. So you should learn some of these processes, and the devotees, and the more advanced devotees, will happily teach you, because it's in their best interest. They want to help. So there's a way to associate with the devotees. So let's put it in 3 classes: those who are junior to you, those who are on your level, and then those who are above you. So does anyone have any ideas? How would you associate to those who are spiritually junior to you? How do you think? What's the best way? Maybe someone who's practiced a little bit. Mercifully. Yes. How can I help this person? If they're like, they're junior to you, they don't have all their ducks in a row spiritually yet, you can help, and you have a couple ducks in a row, you can help. Whatever ducks in a row you've put into place, you can help them get those ducks in a row. And you can act mercifully to them. Those on your level, what do you think? Oh, juice. Is there water, Mother? Is it possible? Can I donate the juice and get water?
Yeah.
That would be wonderful. What do you think? Anyone know? How would you act with somebody who is on your platform of life? It's simpler than you think.
You make friends amongst them.
Yes, friendship. You have friendship. With those who are on your level, you have friendship with. And then those who are above you, how do you act? Yes, respectfully. You should be submissive. You should also consult them for help, like mentorship in certain ways. And then also, serve them in some way. And then they'll actually, they'll be very inclined to help you. This is the secret. So we want to find the topmost class of spiritualists that we can. In layman's terms, the most saintly person that you can find in your life, you should find the most saintly person that you can, and try and serve that person. Try and help that person, and they will help raise you up. You cannot raise yourself up, actually. There's only so much that you can do on your own. It's like imagining, you guys were here, you weren't here for the first class, but Sarah and Izzy, when I first started presenting this to the Western audience, I thought it would be really important for everyone to realize how little we actually know of existence. Right? Do you remember that? And what was the number that we reached, that our scientists have reached? Practically 0, shunya. There's pretty much devoid of all knowledge. That's practically where we're all at. If you want to break it down, if you know math, if you put any quantifiable number over infinity, which our modern scientists, thank you, Mother, are saying this, in their discovery of the universe, it's infinite. What would that put? What's any quantifiable number over infinity?
0.
Practically 0. Right. There's some value to it, but we can't really diagnose it. It's practically 0. So that's really where we're at. We don't know anything, and in that humble understanding, we should not be so proud, and we should never think like my son. If we just left him by himself in the park, it would be a disaster. He could not fend for himself at all. We can't even leave him in a room by himself because he's so dependent. But because he practically knows nothing and his body is so limited. So similarly, who is this young boy back here? He's very nice. Kumar, is this your son?
Yes.
Wow. What is his name?
Sisan.
Sisan. Hare Krishna. So Sisan is very active and very enthusiastic. But Kumari knows very well not to send Sisan out into the world and let him fend for himself. No, because it's very natural. Kumari should guide Sisan because she realizes he's in a vulnerable position of life. So all of us in our beginning stage, if you imagine we're like figurative babies, we should realize, I'm like a spiritual toddler, or maybe I'm like a spiritual baby and I'm wandering around in this existence. So you actually should find mentors, those who can guide you, navigate you through. Because if you try to do this on your own, what will happen is you'll, just like you wouldn't want Sisan to go wander the streets alone due to all kinds of crazy things that could happen to him. You wouldn't want that to happen to you as you try to traverse spiritual life alone. So we want to diagnose where we are, and almost certainly the beginning is Kanishta Adhikari. We're neophyte, we're beginning devotees. The Madhyama Adhikari is one who has been initiated and one who is, what does he say here? fully engaged by the spiritual master in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. And that's including, also now sharing the message with others. So the Madhyamadikari is on that platform. And that's good, but even still, the Madhyamadikari is trying to approach the Uttamadikaris to try and get, to allow them to go further. So this is one thing. So we'll keep reading. The Madhyamadikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. The Uttamadikari, or highest devotee, is one who is very advanced in devotional service. An Uttamadikari is not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean and he's attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. So this is actually a symptom of advancement. If somebody is blaspheming others, gossiping, criticizing others, like you can imagine, like when you turn on the news, these are supposed to be the most, respectable people in politics and society, but they're all just fighting and bickering with each other and criticizing, things like that. That should actually be a symptom. I think I should go somewhere else for some type of something beneficial. I'll try not to blaspheme them for their blaspheming, and then I become a blasphemer myself. But this is, we have to be very careful. Actually, it's said in the Mahabharata by Bhishma, if you criticize someone and it's true, it doesn't matter, you'll get that very thing you criticize, you'll attract that to you. So if you have a lot to say about, oh, my friend did this, let's say, oh, Piyush, he does this, and this, and that, and if I start criticizing what he's doing, and then I will actually fall into the same thing. That result is guaranteed of me. Right, Brajesh? So be very careful with you and Piyush. Brajesh and Piyush are like best friends. And they like to make jokes at each other, but sometimes that means teasing each other. So you have to be careful. When you criticize anything, the very thing you criticize will come to you, actually. And that's if it's true. If it's not true, you'll get twice the result, actually. That very thing you criticize, you'll get twice that thing that you're criticizing, especially if it's not true and you're criticizing an innocent person. So practically speaking, criticism is our worst enemy. If we start criticizing, we're in very deep trouble, actually. Yes.
What about when you're criticizing yourself?
That's healthier. It's much healthier actually, because if you're criticizing yourself, it's actually one of the first principal teachings of spiritual life is humility and repentance. And wanting to be sorrowful for maybe the wrong that you've done. So there's nothing wrong with criticizing yourself. If you're going to criticize anyone, that's the one person you should criticize. That's very healthy, actually.
Those who are mournful will be exalted.
What's that?
Those who are mournful will be exalted.
Yes, those who humble themselves shall be exalted, and those who exalt themselves shall be humbled. So it's a teaching from Jesus. So, yes, Jagadish.
The words I'm thinking are critiquing oneself.
Yes.
Is a healthy way. Some forms of self-criticism could be not that, but critiquing oneself and taking an inventory.
Yes.
Of where one's at is certainly healthy, but self-hatred is not.
Yeah.
We're not called to hate ourselves.
Yeah, we're not.
But honest evaluation is healthy.
Yes.
And humble.
Yes.
And good.
You may also be shocked if you read some of the acharyas. Some of their poetry, some of their songs that they write, some of their what they have to say about themselves seems like, wow, how could you think so low of yourself? But actually, if you know their mood, they actually are in spiritual ecstasy, and they're showing the spiritualist where to turn this nature. We don't need to become. Remember, you have to be enthusiastic, you have to be patient, you have to be confident. So you can't turn the criticism dial on yourself to a point where you can't be enthusiastic, you can't be confident in what you're doing, and you can't be patient and keep going. So it's to a point where, okay, acknowledging, and Jesus puts this very nice, hate the sin but not the sinner. Yes, I've done this. This was an absolutely reprehensible activity that I've done. I should not have done this. I hate that I did that. But I'm not limited by that. I don't have to keep doing that. I can move beyond that. So it's like healthy. You don't have to you can hate the sin, the thing that you've done, but not the sinner. And the same with others. If someone is doing really reprehensible things, you try and tolerate. You also might have to take a distance from that person if they're really, infringing upon you in their whatever their activity they're doing. But you understand it's not them as a spirit soul that's doing this. This is them in their ignorance in their material body doing this. And it's not in your best interest to criticize them. It's in your best interest to help them. That may mean taking a distance from them. Oftentimes, if somebody turns on you and all they can do is really criticize you, they're actually gathering a bunch of offenses to the Lord in doing that. So it's better you just remove yourself from the situation so as to not to hurt them, actually. Because every time they turn against you more and more, the Lord is more and more displeased with such activity. So we have to find a nice balance. But basically, if you yourself can learn to take any blasphemy of others away out of the equation, and if you have something negative to say, you can say it's negative. Like for instance, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. He, anytime he ever heard somebody blaspheming a Vaishnava, he would cover his ears, and he would tell that person, everyone is doing bhajan except for me. Bhajan is like deep spiritual worship. So he would see that everyone is doing bhajan except for me. I'm the only one that's not doing bhajan here. And everyone else is actually doing bhajan. Because actually in reality, everyone is serving Krishna, whether they know it or not. Everyone is serving God, whether they know it or not. Some are serving God in his lila of the Maya energy or the illusion energy. And that's perfect for them, right there. For the devotee, we're not interested in staying limited in that form of service to God. There's a higher service to God we're called to, and that's in direct association. But this is actually how the Vaishnava sees. Everyone's doing bhajan except me. Everyone else is doing their spiritual practice nicely. I'm the only one who hasn't figured it out yet. How can I figure out how to do a spiritual practice? So this is very advanced. This is Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. So anyhow, Prabhupada's saying, one should not remain a Kanishta Adhikari, one who is situated on the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only in worshipping the deity in the temple. Such a devotee is described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So you see a lot of times in the beginning, especially in the East, this is so prominent where deity worship is so prominent. In the West, we have no kind of, not much of a inclination towards worshipping deities or anything like that. We do it now, at least I do it now, due to some higher revelation in my life, but ultimately it wasn't part of my upbringing at all. Where in the East, deity worship is very prominent, and it's a very popular way in which to connect to God this way. So, but one who's only worshipped about going to the temple, the Lord is only at the temple, or you may be in the Western mind, the Lord's only at church. I'll go to church and I worship the Lord and I give all my respect at church, but then outside, I can act kind of nonsense. This is like Kanishta type of activities beginning. So we shouldn't stay on that platform. So such a devotee is described in this verse, Archayam eva haraye pujang ya shradha yehate natad bhakte shuchanyeshu sa bhakta prakrita smrita. A person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple, but who does not know how to behave towards devotees or people in general, is called a prakrita bhakta or a kanishta adhikari. Prakrita means materialistic, like of the world of matter, prakriti, the world of matter. So a prakrita bhakta is like a materialistic devotee. So a devotee who might know how to, come, maybe they know how to worship the ultimate deity in this age, the sound deity, is they might know how to chant Hare Krishna, call out to God, they like Krishna. But, with the Krishna's devotees, they have no idea how to associate, actually. And this is Kanishta Adhikari. They don't even know that they're Kanishta. That's usually what it is. They think they're so much more advanced than they are. One. And then two, they don't know how to they don't even know how to recognize someone is above them or in spiritual life. And if they do recognize, they might not even know how to properly associate with them. And it should be in reverence, actually. When someone has more spiritual advancement than us, we should associate in reverence. So the enlightened ways, we just mentioned them. For your juniors, the enlightened way to associate with your juniors is through mercy. How can I be merciful? The unenlightened way, does anyone know? What's an unenlightened way to associate with your juniors?
To ignore them.
No, even worse, probably.
To blaspheme.
To belittle them. To belittle you, to make fun of them. Oh, look at you, you're doing all these stupid things like this, like that. Like bullying, type of thing. This is the unenlightened way to associate with your juniors. Okay, with those who are on an equal platform of you, what's the enlightened way to associate? Okay, we just talked about in friendship. That's those four things that we mentioned before: giving prasad, accepting prasad, or giving gifts, accepting gifts, giving prasad, accepting prasad, inquiring confidentially, talking about your issues, things that you're having, and things like that, and then inquiring into them. So those four things, that's the enlightened way to deal with those on your platform. What's the unenlightened way?
Competition.
Yes. Rivalry. Yes, I have to compete. This is, you might find this very prominent in your life, this competitive nature. It's actually due to ignorance that we compete with others. Because we're feeling insecure at our position, and for whatever reason, if you can feel better than that person over there, somehow or other it can make you feel better in your ignorant position. So this is actually, this is the unenlightened way. And then our seniors, what's the enlightened way to associate? With reverence. In Bhagavad Gita, tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. So when you meet somebody, that understanding, that knowledge can be given to you by that person who is senior to you. Pranipatena, by being submissive before them, pariprashnena, asking how you can make advancement, because they'll know, because they're on a higher platform. And then seva, you serve them. Oh, how can I help you? Things like that. And then they'll upadekshanti, they will reveal to you. That's just the way you conquer any saintly person's heart. But through submission and service to them and asking questions, you'll conquer any saintly person's heart this way. They can't even help it. They'll have to help you. So if anyone's wise, they will learn this art. So anyway, then they'll reveal that knowledge to you, and they'll help elevate you. So this is the secret. But what's the unenlightened way? This also happens a lot.
Think you can teach them something?
That's one thing, but that's stemming from the real unenlightened root. Envy. We become very envious of them. Maybe we try to minimize them. Oh, they're not really that advanced. This, that, and the other thing. Maybe they're just lucky or something like that. Or maybe and we might impose some of our own faults upon them, and we might see them, and we internally criticize them and things like this. So anyway, this is the unenlightened way to deal with our mentors and our seniors. So we should always try to learn how to associate with the devotees. If you don't know how to associate with the devotees, almost guarantee you will be a kanishta. That's like symptom of a kanishta. Only knows how to worship at the temple, but when dealing with the associates, that's why Jesus' second tier 2 very most important commandments. The first commandment was for everyone, including the kanishtas, and the second one was this is for those approaching the madhyam. What are they?
Love the Lord and love thy neighbor, right?
Yes, love the Lord with all your heart, mind, soul, strength, and words, and then love thy neighbor as thy love thyself. Understanding how to associate with the devotee, but also understanding how to associate with others. And you can see that God is within the heart of others. If you can learn that and how to properly associate with others, then you can actually make some advancement. So this is actually very, very important. For the Kanishta, for everyone, loving God is a good start. Okay, accepting there's a God. We should love God. We should learn to try to understand God, and we should try to love and serve God. Great start. Now, seeing that God is also within the heart of all these people, especially also the ones that you might not like so much or get on your nerves or this, that, and the other thing. God is also in their heart. God is sending you that person in this circumstance for a reason. What lesson can you learn in this? So this is a more advanced teaching. So anyway, and we're called not to be a Kanishta. So one therefore has to raise himself from the position of Kanishta Adhikari to the platform of Madhyama Adhikari. The Madhyama Adhikari is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.246 in this way. Ishwareta radineshu balisheshu dvishatsucha prema maitri kripopeksha ya karoti samadhyamaha. The Madhyama Adhikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friends with the Lord's devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids those who are envious by nature. So this is Krishna's description of what a Madhyama Adhikari does. He sees that the worship of God is the highest object of love. He makes the friends with the Lord's devotees. He's merciful to the ignorant, or those who may not have much spiritual cultivation yet. He always wants to try to help that person. And avoids those who are envious by nature. So those who are very critical of him, out of mercy for them, he'll avoid them because he doesn't want to have them continue in their offenses, actually. So he just says, okay. Like in the beginning, when I was just starting my spiritual life, a lot of my relatives and family were not so eager for me to take this path. And sometimes they became a little critical or something of what I was doing. So I realized at some point, just to actually be helpful to them and also helpful to myself, it would be better I get in a better environment where people were going to encourage me in my spiritual life and not try and knock me down. So you might feel like you have to do this. You can go and revisit them later, like a lot of those friends and family and things like that. I revisit time to time, a couple times a year, even still at this point in my life. And, it's good. But if I hang out too long, then eventually they're like, oh, come on, you're so boring. Why do you want to do all this stuff all the time? Where's the fun? Eat, drink, be merry, sex, drugs, rock and roll. This is real life, But, and I trying to say, no, well, there might be something more, Anyhow, try not to criticize too much. But you actually will avoid, though. But you learn how to especially make friendship with the devotees in those three ways. Submission to seniors, friendship with those of of an equal status, and merciful to those who are just beginning, like you had to begin. So this whole program is meant to extend the mercy out to the sincere souls who may actually want to come and hear spiritual knowledge. Because most people, that's not their interest. But a few nice people, you might meet them at the park, who knows where you're going to meet them, want to hear spiritual knowledge. And they might come in, and this is a whole expression of mercy. Devotees trying to share what's helped them in their lives. So we'll finish here because we're approaching the end. This is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advises how to treat various devotees. We can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrita Sahajiyas generally chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, yet they are attached to women, money, and intoxication. Also, for women, it could be men. They're attached to sex life. Money and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from pure devotees. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. So, you should avoid those who are, maybe making a show of spiritual life, but you might know, they have all kinds of crazy habits, Like if you found out here, oh yes, we're teaching about spiritual life, but on the side, I like to go out to the gentleman's club and all these other, the bar and this thing and that way, or I'm really addicted to all these other type of things, then, you could still respect me, but you're just like, okay. I need to find somebody who is beyond this thing, that would be the honest assessment. But sometimes people get carried away by bad association. like every once in a while, not every once in a while, almost certainly, when we bring people in and tell them how the glories of spiritual life, and they say, yes, that's very good, but you know what? I'm used to doing so many other things. I have my life previously to this. I go to parties on this day. I do this on this day. We like to stay up late. We like to drink this. We like to do this and do that. And it's unnatural for them to just give all that up all in one sitting. So if I'm not very intelligent or more of a kanishta, I'll be berating them. Come on, what are you doing? This is stupid. Blah 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 blah. And then things like that. But if okay, they might have some other association that's encouraging to do these things. Yes, you might know internally it's not going to be so favorable for their spiritual life. But you know what? Just keep encouraging them. Like, oh, no, don't worry about it. Come on Wednesday, come on Sunday, see you soon, blah, blah, blah. And then you tell them, hey, actually we do stuff every day. If you want, you can come every day. And the next thing you know, then, someone's like, oh, yeah, I'll live here. Why not? I'm not telling you all have to live here, but everyone should, sadhu sangha is very, very important. If you would like to see some scriptural evidence for that, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a verse. Sadhu sangha, sarva shastra hai, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hai. Yes, thank you. Part. So sadhu sangha, or the association of the spiritualists, the association of those who've seen the truth. That's what a sadhu is. All the scriptures say, lava matra, even in one moment's association with the sadhu, sarva siddhi hai, you can get complete perfection in just that one moment. Especially when someone's on a very high level. You can have a very even small interaction with them. But it can be so powerful, so potent, that you'll completely realize that, like, they have something I want. I want that thing. And then you'll go after that. So this is very, very important. So this verse is all about sadhu sangha, how to properly associate. Maybe a very healthy part of this teaching is to understand our, how we can associate with the devotees. It's a good rule of thumb if someone is, fully initiated or surrendered more and more into the path, we should give them a special type of respect. We don't have to worship their feet and things like that, even though you might get benefit from that. Don't do that to me. But actually, this is a very nice gesture. But we should offer them at least internally some respect, especially our seniors. There's a lot of many devotees. Personally, in my life, I went to an all Indian temple. Like, you guys are, I don't want to say you're fortunate, but this was a way less of a culture shock right now, because there's way more Western people in here, at least for the Westerners. Then what I got when I went in, it was like a completely Indian temple. Barely anyone spoke English, and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? But actually, they were so nice to me. They treated me so nicely, and they helped me. They were so patient with me, and they encouraged me so much that actually I look back and if I happen to see them, and I do see them usually a few times a year. More and more I'm realizing how much I respect and love them, and how merciful they were to me. So anyway, this is a very, very healthy thing to do. We should learn how to appreciate the devotees and associate with the devotees. But the first step, you just understand there's a God, and it's probably in my best interest to learn how to serve God and maybe learn how to love God. Because we're all looking for love, but we don't necessarily, no one teaches us how to love, actually. They teach us how to lust. Lust is like to temporarily get something from someone, and yes, I've got it. And then when that thing isn't, that's why most divorces are happening nowadays, because the marriage isn't based on love. Love is actually a divine thing, and it comes from association with God. But most people have some lust for each other. You look good, we can do this activity together that might feel good. But as soon as that's withheld, and that's usually what happens as people grow older, it's not able to be sustained. And then all kinds of problems are there and conflicts, and next thing you know, everyone's leaving each other. He doesn't love me anymore. I don't love him anymore. It never was love in the first place. Love is actually a haitukiya pratihata. It means it's unconditional and it's unending. Like that's really love. That's like real love. Anything else would be lust. You know what I mean? It means conditional love. I love you when you act like this. When you don't act like this, I don't love you anymore. Nope, no love for me. So this is actually, anyway, I didn't want to give you a marriage discussion tonight. But, all of these principles will go and they'll benefit every aspect of your life. It's like watering the root. Where's my tree? Watering the root of a tree. If you just water the root, everything gets nourished on the tree. But, similarly in our life, what about my relationship? What about my job? What about, all these things, my desires and my career and my finances and all these things? Yes, you need to survive. All these things are important. But just by offering your service and your love to God, everything will be nourished. Like Jesus says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all other things shall be added unto you. So if you do that, if you devote your life simply to God, everything will be taken care of. You actually won't have to worry about some of these other aspects. I see it all the time in my life, even when I'm not very expert at anything, especially in maintaining a home. This thing is breaking, this thing is breaking, this thing is breaking. But because we try to host some programs and teach people about God, the Lord is always sending someone who does know the thing that I'm lacking very much heavily. Like one of those guys back there is Tejas. Tejas is always, seeing where we're lacking here, and somehow or other he has expertise or experience in this. And next thing you know, he's got someone fixing our gutter, the dryer. Oh no, I know how to do all that. And all these things that I would never know how to do. This problem over here, no problem. He knows all these things. So it works like that. When you try to serve the Lord, everything else will be taken care of. There's a guarantee, actually. You don't have to worry so much about it. But just understanding, even if it's theoretical at this point, could there be a God? Is there a God? If so, it would. If not, like we said on last Sunday, we're cooked. We're not in a good position. If there's no God, then it all ends at death, and this is a pretty miserable existence. God is the only thing that actually gives hope that, like, okay, this will. This journey of life will have a deeper purpose, a deeper happiness waiting for me. Everything I do here, it won't get worse and worse and worse and worse. God is really the only hope for that. Everything else is just like kind of, or pretty much the atheistic view is, it starts out in your youth, you can enjoy, and it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse as you progress. But there's a lot of evidence, an insurmountable amount of evidence that there must be an intelligent controller. And then there's a lot of scriptural recommendation. Okay, this is how you associate. Try it out. You can test it. It works. And then at some point, it will go completely beyond what your limited sense perceptions can give. But still, yes, this is the step one. We should all at least strive to be a Kanishta Adhikari. A Kanishta is at least someone who believes in God. So we should at least strive to at least be a devotee of God. And then from there, then we can work on being a more advanced devotee. But at the beginning, we should have that fun. So anyway, that's what we're here to share. There is a God. And the simplest way to associate with God is to simply call his name. That's why we have this mantra. These three aspects of God. God who will take away our... Hari means who will take away. What will he take away? Our miseries. Will take away our, all of our bad habits and our unwanted things about ourselves. These yucky things. So when we call out to that Hari, we're calling out to the God who will purify us. Krishna, who's very attractive, will steal my mind and steal my heart away from all these other things I was looking at before. Now I'm like, all right, well, the more I learn about you, the more I want to know about, what you have to offer and what you're about. And then Ram actually is pleasure. So the all-attractive, the all-pleasing Lord, and the Lord who will purify and take away anything unholy about you. So we chant this mantra. This is a very loose, beginner level interpretation of this Maha Mantra. It's all factual, but it can be expanded and expanded and expanded upon as well. So anyway, would you like to try chanting and then we can end the program today? Does that sound good? Okay, thank you guys so much for having this little satsang. I appreciate you guys, especially our new folks, but especially also our stalwarts who keep coming every week by week. We're very happy to have you. Next Wednesday, we'll have a special guest here. If you should try and make it for next Wednesday. His name is Mukunda Prabhu. He's a very experienced devotee. He got to associate with some of these saints in the 70s that we actually worship when we read their books. So he was associating with them in the 70s, and he himself is actually an initiating guru. So yeah, it's definitely worth hearing from him, but he'll be here next Wednesday night. So if there's any special time to come over the next whole probably summer, next Wednesday night is a very important night, 6 p.m. So I hope you guys get to join next Wednesday. But